Today we are in Revelation 16 verse 12 through to the end of the chapter. The whole chapter is about the outpouring of the contents of the 7 bowls of wrath onto the earth. Yesterday we looked at bowls 1 to 5 and we couldn't help noticing the links to current climate change and environmental disaster. And today, as we read about bowls 6 and 7, well, there's more of the same. And it starts with a drying up of the Euphrates River. A river that we know starts up in the mountains of Turkey, winds down through Syria into modern-day Iraq, down to Kuwait, where it meets the Persian Gulf. It's a real physical place. It's not hard to imagine that river drying up when you think of the climate. We don't discern biblical prophecy through Google, not a good idea, but if you do Google the Euphrates, you will see that water levels dropped dramatically this year, causing huge agricultural problems, power outages from hydroelectricity, military tension between Turkey and Syrian Kurdish forces because of the Euphrates drying up. Kings from the east of Euphrates, well, the east of the Euphrates would be Saudi Arabia, and we think about the climate there. The 7th bowl is poured out, and remember, there's something distinct about the final seal, the 7th seal, the 7th trumpet, the 7th bowl. They speak of completion. They speak of the start of the new heavens and the new earth. And here we see the pouring out of the 7th bowl causes a great earthquake, one that splits Jerusalem into 3, and one that levels many of the world's cities. So again, environmental disaster. That earthquake perhaps leads to the flooding that covers islands and mountains. It leads to hailstones, £100 each. Again, let's not Google biblical prophecy, but the world record for hail, 1986 in Bangladesh, £2 of hail, killing 96 people. Again, you know, I'm not recommending we interpret biblical prophecy through Google, but it's interesting to see how it's playing out in our time. The purpose of Revelation is to reveal more of who Jesus is, more of his nature, more of his plans, more of his purposes, and to help us to see those unfolding in our days. And we have in verse 15 this almost unexpected interjection. Behold, I come like a thief in the night. Behold, behold, that is a command to look, to see Jesus, to watch, to be watching for Jesus. And this idea of being like a thief, well, you know, no matter what anyone says about the interpretation of the events in Revelation, there are 2 things we can say for certain. 1, nobody knows the day or the hour when Jesus will return. And 2, we can say for certain that we should be prepared and live as if it's imminent. The metaphor, the imagery that John hears and sees here is that of being clothed. Being prepared for Jesus' return is about being rightly clothed in his righteousness, rightly clothed in the power of his Spirit, rightly clothed in his armour, ready for spiritual battle. Very much echoes for me the whole thing around Matthew 25 and those 3 end-time parables, those wise and foolish virgins who were prepared. They took their lamps, they kept them ready for the bridegroom's return. Jesus is coming soon, I believe it, and I believe that the events of the world unfolding around us are there to call us into that way of living, clothed in righteousness. It's about holiness as a witness to the world as we call people to follow Jesus. Have a wonderful day.